Death brings new life, or so we're told.
I mean, brand new.
Ozzie Longino knows that's true. Once partially blind, he now views the world through a dead man's gift, the eye of this famous author.
I practically grew up amid these tombstones.
Willie Morris died last August, leaving behind 19 books.
I feel I could be there right now and grow up all over again.
I decided to cut across the cemetery on the way to Mrs. Eddie Mack's house.
Morris also left something to help someone who had never read them.
I couldn't work. I couldn't drive. I couldn't read nothing.
Because an infection last spring scarred the lens that covers Longino's left eye.
Everything was just a blur.
And growing darker until doctors transplanted Willie Morris's lens.
Look really good.
2 days later, the doctors did something they rarely do. Told Longino the name of the man who pushed back his darkness.
I can look up into the sunlight. I can walk around, see where I'm going.
Morris left his corneas to 2 men he had never met. One black, one white. All 3 were born in Mississippi. Morris at a time when the South knew something of darkness. A time when it would have been unthinkable for a white man to share his sight with a black man.
I left Yazoo on a bus, and I knew I would never return there to live again.
The idea of forging friendships with people of color was something that you just couldn't do when he was growing up.
But Morris forged a bond in his writing. At 34, he became the youngest editor of this country's oldest magazine, Harper's Weekly. Went on to write best-selling books. A Southern Mark Twain, speaking out for those who could not.
So no one else would. He said something kind about us. And that's one of the main things that got us where we are today, men like him.
Morris wrote candidly about race long before most.
I really think he had a sort of heightened sensibility and sensitivity to what was around him.
Morris's wife, Joanne.
I do think he represented the best that the South has to offer.
This was home, no matter where else he lived. Yazoo City, a town of 12,000 in the Mississippi Delta. Here, he first saw the sorrows that constantly quake beneath the surface of everyday life. Here, he showed us how to love a place and change it at the same time.
He never gave up on the South.
Morris didn't grow up in a home filled with books. He learned storytelling from old men who sat in the shade and whittled, learned to cherish the gift they were giving. Their eye for detail that showed him things he missed, even standing next to them.
I think he was a curious kid who just soaked up everything around him.
That made him a man of rare vision.
Tense awareness on his part of the ironies and confusions of this period.
Friends agree Willie Morris would have loved the irony of his life after death. The man whose work helped us see ourselves more clearly, now helping another man see well enough to drive.
In a couple more months, I won't even have to wear glasses.
It seems fitting somehow that Willie Morris's vision will be remembered not just in words, but in deeds.
I'm glad I am able to see it.
For today, Bob Dotson, NBC News, Yazoo City, Mississippi.